Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Kephart coming to you from the great state of Iowa here, Cedar Rapids, Iowa area. It's kind of on the middle to middle eastern Iowa. Um, we like to call it God's country. I know I grew up in Manchester, Iowa, a small little town. Lived out in the country. We called it Havenwood because it was like heaven there. But what do we got going on? I guess we're going to start off something kind of interesting having to do with Iowa. I'm going to try to talk a couple of little things about Iowa here. Um, Everybody remembers the USS Iowa, the big battleship, won a lot of awards in World War II, Korea War, did serve a little bit of time in Vietnam, was decommissioned back, I forget which year that was decommissioned. It was decommissioned in 89, 90. So, and what's great about that, it does sit in the port of Los Angeles, and anybody that is from Iowa, I encourage you to go out to the hellhole of California and go to Los Angeles, and you will, as long as you have an Iowa ID, driver's license, you can get on that boat and tour it for free. It's part of we here in Iowa donated like $25 million or more to help restore and get it set up as a museum. And that was our only uh, little note on that, was that Iowa citizens get to get on there for free. But great big battleship. It was Iowa class battleship. Of course, you had the Wisconsin and the Missouri. The Wisconsin, notably, was in Korea, that just decimated a whole mountain, actually changed the topography of the region by shooting so many cannons at this area because they took a shot and actually hit the USS Wisconsin. They more or less took down a mountain. Great. But anyway, so the USS Iowa was decommissioned, and they did build a new ship. It is a submarine. It is the SSN 797, and it is going to be commissioned Saturday. Um, I know the one of our radio hosts out of WHO in Des Moines, Simon Conway, is going to be broadcasting live tomorrow from Connecticut, uh, kind of a pre party before Saturday, having to do with the commissioning of this Virginia class submarine, and it will be pretty nice little boat. It will be able to. It's got 4 torpedo tubes, 2 Virginia payload tubes that are capable of holding 6 Tomahawk missiles. It's kind of a first strike type uh, submarine. It is the first submarine that will accommodate both men and women on board. So our women can uh, serve in a submarine. And these people that serve on submarines, they're a different type of people, because you're in a, I mean, it's not little. It's a pretty good sized sub, but you think you're going underwater and there's nothing around you. You might be 800 feet down below the surface of the water, and anything were to happen, you're screwed, because you're not going to make it up top. So, submariners are, like I said, they are a different bunch. I like the statement in the movie Pearl Harbor, where they're supposedly FDR had said, I like some commanders because they ain't got time for bullshit, neither do I. So, uh, just that's not a real quote by FDR, not that I could find, but it was kind of neat. But anyway, we got a nice new sub going out, nice new banner on it. It's gonna the crest. It has our motto on it. It has the picture of the USS Iowa battleship, the Gray Ghost. It's got a shamrock with a wreath around it that symbolizes the 5 Sullivan brothers from Waterloo that were all killed on the USS Wanu, was stuck in the Guadalcanal on November 13th, 42. Um, which led to that's the reason why they made the movie Saving Private Ryan. If anybody's seen that, that's they went to save him because his brothers had been killed in the Navy or the armed services didn't want brothers. We didn't want to wipe out a whole family generation, so we kind of pulled some of those people back. But it is it will be interesting to watch. I want to see. I'm sure some of this will be streamed. I'm going to watch on that. Um, Little things that going on in Iowa. I know they're still fighting here. We had this carbon pipeline that they wanted to put in that's going to take all the carbon dioxide from making ethanol and that and pump it up into I think South Dakota where they're going to pump it underground and cap it off. They put it into old mine shafts and stuff because carbon dioxide is so bad. And I more or less kind of got into an argument with Chat GPT, and I need to do it with Gronk through X. But it's more or less telling me that 99% of scientists agree that carbon dioxide is bad for the environment. No, and again, it's a lot of junk science that's actually out there. And it's really funny to see these lefties say that science is science. It's already settled, but that's the definition of science is to disprove science. But we need this carbon dioxide. NASA even admits, yes, we are over the last 40 years, we are more greener now than we were, like I said, 40 years ago. Greenhouse gases, the carbon dioxide has no effect on us. That is a lie. I will argue most of these studies are not from independent people. They are backed by governments, backed by taxpayers' money. A lot of them here in the United States. Look at the Green New Deal, where, like we talked about before, where they were talking about that they wanted $10 trillion to go to this, and it settled at $1.5 trillion, all to tax us worse. And they want to talk about the tariffs, which we'll get into that now. Tariffs are going to affect the normal people. We're going to have to pay for this and whatnot. It's going to kill the economy. Well, nothing kills the economy more than print $8 trillion from 2020 to 2021, 22 to pay for all this stuff. That affects us more. That puts us even further in debt. That makes it so our dollar isn't worth anything when you keep printing money out of thin air. These tariffs, we'll get into that. I'm very disappointed in Mr. Rand Paul out of Kentucky for voting against that in the Senate. Tariffs protect jobs. For far too long, and Donald Trump has been talking about this for a few decades. There's a thing popping up through on X and patriots.win of old interview with him with Oprah Winfrey talking about how we're getting ripped off. We import everything and don't charge anything. I mean, I still remember when NAFTA went into effect and it killed our economy. We're up to 90,000 manufacturing facilities that have left the United States. This is not good. We need fair trade. I mean, up in Canada, we can't ship milk and dairy products up there. They have a 35% tariff on dairy products. Why? Well, they want to protect their farmers. Well, that's good. But we can't protect our farmers? So, they can sell their stuff down to here. We don't charge them anything. That's crap. The only country that we actually get along with as far as a free trade is Japan, and rightfully so. We built Japan. We decimated Japan. Now we rebuilt Japan. But these tariffs have long cost us a lot of jobs. Trump pointed that out his first term. How we didn't have hardly any steel plants left. We have done like one. And this is because it became more profitable to have some other country like China do it when you can maximize your profits. If we're not going to charge any tariffs on their products coming over here, then of course you're going to, if you're a business owner, yeah, I'm going to go to China and have my labor done there. I can maximize my profits. And this should actually get all these environmentalists going. What better than to put tariffs on, protect our American jobs, start manufacturing everything here instead of having it built in China or Australia or India or Africa. You got to ship that products over here on these big container ships, and they use a lot of diesel. But then again, these environmentalists, they don't know which way's up, which way's down. They're just following orders anyway. Um, Obviously, I mean, you see the stuff coming out of Europe where you have environmental activists going to Tesla dealerships and spraying them with paint and everything. Tesla is a green car. It's an EV, minus the fact that it costs it you got to pollute a bunch. It takes a lots millions of gallons of diesel to mine out the cobalt lithium. So that's not so good. But after that, the car's great. Uh, but yeah, they're going after an EV, a green friendly company now, because Elon is more aligned with helping us out, helping to stop the waste and the fraud. And that goes to show you the pushback against fraud by the left shows you that there's fraud there, and they want to keep that fraud. They want to keep those paychecks coming in through USAID, AID, and other venues. It's ridiculous. It's cost us trillions of dollars in the long run now. These tariffs can help, but like we go back to these environmentalists, they just don't care. I just had a conversation today with somebody about the EPA. If the EPA actually cared about how much your car was polluting, they really would have thrown a stink over the East Palestine incident where they lit the vinyl chloride on fire and polluted everything. So again, the EPA, it's these are all scams. They're ways of taking your money that you work your ass off for and put it into their pockets or their buddies' pockets, and it's going to get uncovered. Elon's doing a lot of digging. I love the excuse that Social Security is going to it's going to hurt the Social Security. It's going to hurt Medicare. No, we're trying to stop this so it actually is available. When you're paying out billions of dollars to these illegals for free health care, that could go to an American that needs health care. We have a broken system in Congress. DC has broken the system. They invented the system, and then they've used the system against us. And it's all coming out. We got to be patient. Things are going on behind the scenes that we do not. We know they're happening behind the scenes. We just have to give them time. They got to get all their ducks in a row. These people have been dug in for decades. This stuff's been going on. You scratching my back? Yeah, I'm scratching your back. You're scratching my back. Yeah. So we can get this money going back and forth with each other, and we can make ourselves rich and our buddies rich and everything else. That's why the big thing about the billionaires. Oh, we're going to protect these oligarchs and blah 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 blah. But it's funny about all these dang tariffs is everybody was for them. Bernie Sanders was for tariffs. It's not a free trade when we have to pay tariffs for all this stuff. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they're all for more tariffs and getting rid of the free trade. But when Donald Trump comes out and says something, everything, and we can't be for Trump. No. This is it's sickening. And now we've got we found out Wisconsin had their voting. We'll start off with Wisconsin. Wisconsin voted for their Supreme Court person. The liberal on that side was a very, very liberal person that let pedophiles off on slaps on the wrist. One instance where she actually was still allowed the guy to live, a pedophile, right across the street from a school, an elementary school. So, but what's funny is she won by like six. It was like 60-30, something like that. But they also was another provision on the ballot there that they voted on for their constitution that would require voter ID in Wisconsin, which we have voter ID here in Iowa. It's not perfect. We still had some people that probably were illegals. So I think it was like 200, but that's, I mean, it's a little bit better than California, we'll say. But Wisconsin voted overwhelmingly by about 2/3 that they wanted voter ID. But at the same, which is a conservative talking point. It's what we've been pushing for a long time, is to have nationwide voter ID law. So they passed that, but then they elect a liberal. So obviously there's still a lot of fraud going on. There's still voter election meddling going on, and that's a pretty clear cut. You know, the conservatives showed up to vote for the amendment, but didn't vote for this right wing, the conservative Supreme Court justice for them. It's really funny, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of some of this stuff. I know there's tons and tons of evidence for the 2020 election. I'm kind of torn on that. I'm happy the way it turned out. In a way, we needed to have Biden to see how bad everything was, so we could get Trump back in, but or somebody that could reverse course. But they anyway. There's been the Democrat National Committee and Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries are suing the Trump administration over the executive orders that are going to block illegals from voting, which they say, oh, they don't, which Elon Musk has come out and said, yes, we have the Social Security data. There's been millions of illegals voting. But they're suing to keep this executive order, and even Congress going through it, because they want non-citizens to vote. They want everybody to vote, just like all these activist judges want all these criminals back into our country. Yes, you're here illegally. You didn't break the law, but you might have broken the law getting into this country, but your due process. And I commented on somebody's video on YouTube that was going about this too. These illegals, you broke the law. He was referencing a lady, I think was, I've been in this country for like 30 years and just got, bum rushed, and now she's on a plane 1,500 miles away. I don't feel sorry for you. I don't. Not one little bit. You try any of this crap in another country, and then you made a comment about the green cards, that's permanent status. No, it's not. Green card means that you are here, you're in the process of becoming a citizen. If you break the law during this time period, you're not going to be a citizen by breaking laws. You're here on a temporary basis. A green card does not mean you're a citizen. It just means you're on your protected status. Yes, you have more priority to become a citizen than the person that just fell across the border. But that doesn't mean you can't lose it. And like I said, I don't feel sorry for any of these people, that, especially if you supposedly came up here when you were 3 or whatever age, and now you're in your 40s, and I don't know this country that I came from, and blah 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 blah. Well, then why are you not a United States citizen at this point in time? You've had the opportunity. You've had every opportunity to go in and talk to INS or whatever and get it filled out and get your citizenship. So I don't feel sorry for you. That's your loss. That's a choice you made. I made a choice not to break the law so I don't go to jail. You've made the choice to actively stay a fugitive of the law, knowing full well that this could happen. You are here illegally. You try this in any other country, you're done. You don't get the amenities in any other country like you do here. Like I said, we are paying out of Social Security and Medicaid for these illegals in this country. That's why they all need to go. If we accidentally get an American citizen, well, there should be ways to figure this out before they actually get deported. I don't believe any of the news where they said somebody was an actual American citizen, but um, yeah, everything's coming to a head. We're fighting through. We're fighting through. The tariffs are going to work. Um, Trump's already getting phone calls from a lot of different countries wanting to make deals, and you got to remember it's the left really wants to blame that it's going to affect our prices everywhere. It might for a little bit. It's going to change. We have over $5 trillion already promised in investments in the United States to build factories, to create jobs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs from these other countries. So we're going to come here and build. You know, yeah, granted, Japan doesn't have much for a tariff, but on vehicles especially, and I'm in the automotive industry, but we've got Toyota plants here. We have Mazda plants here. We have Hyundai plants. We have Honda plants. That's great. That's great. But do we have, I don't think we have a Mercedes factory here. I don't think we have a BMW factory here. I don't think we have a Cooper factory here, a Jaguar factory, or, you know, I personally, I would be happy to see no European cars here. I think they're a pain to work on. They're a special type of vehicles. Most German cars are way over engineered, so getting sidetracked. But we're finding the fraud. We're finding everything. You have Doge just found the VA, the Veterans Affairs, was paying $380,000 a month to make minor adjustments to a website. They canceled that contract. Now, one person is doing this same job, and he works 10 hours a week to do this. It's way overpriced, but that's everything. And that means somebody else is getting paid down the line. $380,000 a month. That's over that's 50. God, that's like $5 million a year almost. $4.5 million a year just for that. It's all these stupid things that just keep coming up and keep coming up. Trump did put out, this has to do with the tariffs. This has to do with getting our money back. The operation is over. The patient lived and is healing. That's us. We are the patient. We're going to live. It's all going to work out. We're tired of getting screwed over. We're going to put more money back into the American people's hands. This is like a 5D chess game that's been being played out because these globalists, these leftists, the people that actually run the world really don't want us to have freedom. And that's what this has all been about. But he goes on, the prognosis is that the patient will be far stronger, bigger, better, and more resilient than ever before. And we're a very resilient country. I mean, we haven't won much after World War II. And it's stalemate with Korea that is still technically an active war. People want to keep forgetting that Afghanistan was the longest war we've ever been in. No, we're still technically at war with Korea. No peace treaty has been signed. We just have a big, huge demilitarized zone. So we've won world wars. We are the badasses of the world. We have some of the best technology ever invented came out of this country. We've had great minds because capitalism works. Capitalism causes competition. And everybody should know we're competitive, especially in America. We spread that around throughout the world. Competition makes you better. Competition makes you think outside the box to take something. We had to stay in. I worked at XL Specialized Trailers, building heavy haul trailers. The design was based off of Trail King because the owner of the company worked for Trail King, but he had a motto. It said, "We took the best," which Trail King was the best trailers, and made it just a little bit better. And that's what we do. That's what competition does in industrialized world. You see somebody doing something, you think about that and go, how can I do that, but make this better and cheaper? And then I can make money off it, but it's going to benefit everybody else. That's what's great about capitalism in socialistic communist country. You don't have that. You have no competition because the government tells you what to do. This is going to be great. Bringing back competition, bringing back manufacturing is going to make everybody better. It's going to help our debt. It's going to help everybody. It's going to help crime. Granted, there's going to be more and more people still wanting to try to get into this country. But as we see, we've got 3 months in a row where immigration, it's not even immigration, illegals crossing the border has dropped by 97, 98%. Just by having one person that said, you don't come. like Harris said, Kamala Harris, when she goes down there to Central America, what's your message to them? Don't come. Don't come. Yeah, no, that was just an empty threat. No, we have a president that says, no, don't come. And they are not going to come up here. Because we will fight for our country. We will get our rights back. So, and you got people that just like these. This person says, we're going to take everybody. We're going to go back to our own country. Shit, she's black. And it says, think about it. They will starve. No doctors, lawyers, engineers, chiefs, cleaners, pharmacists, etc. Whatever. We have more than enough people here that can do all these jobs. It's ridiculous. But I know. Let's see here. The tariffs are going to work, and I don't understand why Rand Paul voted the way he voted. That is not an American first attitude. The tariffs. It's not like they're going to last forever. These countries are going to want to negotiate. We are a buyer. The United States buys. We are consumers. We rely on the world, but we want our fair share. We invented most of the stuff that we import. We invented, so we know we can do that here. Yeah, we'd like a little bit cheaper price and bring it back down to here. But at the same point in time, we don't want to lose our jobs, and we are just totally consumers and not workers at the same point in time. We need, I mean, you go back to the heydays in the 50s and 60s where we had these factories that were getting built and everybody, that's what built suburbia was factories. You had a stable job. You didn't have to have a college education. Hell, sometimes you didn't even need a high school education. You go there, you go to work, you work your way up the ladder, and soon you're a supervisor, you're a shift lead or whatever, because you worked. And it put good food on your table. You had a good home, you had a great family. And we've destroyed that by shipping jobs overseas. And this all started in the 70s for the most part. In 74 or so, when Nixon went over there and started opening up the trade to China, that really put a damper in the United States. It was a bad deal. Nixon just was trying to please everybody. He went a little too far. And he also took us off the gold standard permanently, and which is hurt us really bad too. But here another mean, if tariffs are so bad for a country's economy, why do all the other countries have such huge tariffs? It's a given. I mean, I take that back. Japan does have some tariffs, like rice. They want to protect their rice farmers. So they have a 700% tariff on United States rice, which means you go to the consumer goes to the store in Japan, say Tokyo, whatever, they can buy say a pound bag of rice for $1 that's from Japan, or you could buy the $8 1 pound bag that's made in the United States. Which one are you going to buy? So we don't even ship rice over there because it's too expensive. Nobody's going to buy the stuff. Not by the time you put the tax on it. I mean, yeah, the consumer does pay for it, but it makes you make a choice. It should be that way. You want to buy this, we'll say a pair of Nikes. Okay. They're manufactured here in the United States, cost you $150. Okay. That same pair of shoes that's made in Vietnam or China should be 100, we'll say 100% tariff on it. So now you've got $250, $300 pair of shoes because there. Well, which one are you going to buy? I'm going to buy the cheaper ones that are made in the United States, and then that actually supports American jobs, and they're going to support what I do, and it all works out. We save our country. It's not that we don't need some products from other countries, but it's just everything should be free. And that's going to save our jobs. That's going to help farmers. It's going to help everybody in the long run. It's going to put more money in your pocket, which is it's just great. It's what we need. What else is going on? Oh, the signal gate stuff. That's I don't know. Oh, I forgot about that. I got way off on a tangent. Anyway, with Iowa, the pipeline. I got way sidetracked on that. We have a pipeline that's getting proposed. South Dakota's kind of pretty much shut it down, but here in Iowa, we're still talking about it. But it all has to do with eminent domain, and eminent domain's all right to a point that the government can do eminent domain for the better of the community, the state, the country, whatever, to a point. I mean, it still has to be reasonable, but they're trying to use eminent domain with a private company to take over farmland. I mean, it's not that the farmers wouldn't be able to farm the land after they put the pipeline in, but the carbon dioxide is a lot worse than we'll say an oil pipeline. Oil, I really don't care what they say. Oil comes out of the damn ground. It's not going to be toxic to the ground when it goes back into it. Stop. But the carbon dioxide is a way different thing. If a line punctures on that, you can cause death. One thing, your vehicle, if you're driving near a pipeline, a CO2 pipeline, and it bursts, and you can't see it, your car's not going to run because your car can't run off carbon dioxide. It needs oxygen. So these pipelines are just terrible. And the use of eminent domain for private sector jobs or private sector company should never be used. Our rights to our land should not be infringed by a private company. And there's still a fight in our House and Senate on that, and they really need to get their heads out of their butts and actually do something about it and put a stop to it. Just stop it altogether. So, what else was going on? Yeah, the person holding up besides science is not negotiable. No, that's like, you want out? You want me done? Okay. So anyway, we will. There's not much else going on. We're keeping our prayers up. Everything's looking good. Liberation Day has happened, and we will continue on. And what's evil? Good will triumph over evil. We're making headways, and just we got to be patient. Just give it some time. We're still not even 100 days in. So with that, we will call it good and be done. All righty. We'll talk to you next week and have a great one. God bless you all.